Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Well, I've got to remove. You can't hear me very well. I've got to remove this. You can't hear me very well with it. So, there is a reason why I put it on because of coronavirus or corona. I call it coronavirus because that's what we call it here. You know, I don't use English language here, and in our language here we call it corona virus. But okay, it's coronavirus. So, well, I'm talking about coronavirus today. So because of that, that's why I have to wear the mask. And well, the topic is I am not afraid of coronavirus because I am ready to die. I personally, Sunday Adelaja, not afraid of coronavirus because I'm ready to die. I'm ready to die. But there are people who are truly afraid of this thing. They want, because I've been hearing a lot of people talking about fear, fear, fear. But most of the messages I've been hearing, people are just saying, don't fear, don't fear. If you fear, fear, we do this. But how not to fear? How to overcome fear? I've not been hearing too much of that. So I want to talk today on how to totally get rid of fear from your life, not just during this time of coronavirus, but altogether. How to overcome fear altogether, once and for all in your life. Rather than fearing death, especially the fear of death, how to get rid of the fear of death. And instead of you fearing death, I want to give you some words of encouragement that will rather make you to admire, yearn, and look forward to death rather than being afraid of death. I want you to begin to get excited about death and about your death rather than be panicking about it. Now, what convinced me to do this video? I just read of a report of a nurse that has been taking care of the patients of coronavirus patients, and then she got it. When she got the virus and she tested positive, she just went and committed suicide straight away because she said she cannot go through the process of, and she just went and died. And then there is another person who just from our church here, I mean from a lady from our church, somebody called her who is not a member of the church, but this person called her and telling her that she feels like committing suicide. Why? Oh, because I'm afraid this thing will come and get me. So you want to commit suicide even though the thing has not even come to you yet? Yes. So I discovered that this is real. A lot of people are living in fear. So I want to give you my own example. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm not afraid of coronavirus because I'm ready to die. I'm ready to die now. I've been ready to die like this since I was 40. I'm 53 now. I'm 53 now, and I've been ready to die since I was 40. So I want to help you to get to a place where you will not be afraid to die. Because anyone that is truly, that is not afraid of death will not be afraid of coronavirus. The most reason why people are afraid of coronavirus is because they're afraid of death. So if you are not afraid of death, if you can overcome the fear of death, then you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be able to stand and withstand the coronavirus as well. So, so I want to give. What are the points that I want to give you so that you will be ready to die at any time? What do you need to know so that you will be ready to die at any time? Now, some people say, maybe I just need to become a Christian. Well, I'm talking about Christians are afraid too. A lot of Christians are afraid too. So the fact that you are a Christian is not enough. The fact that you are a Christian is not enough for you not to be afraid. A lot of Christians are afraid. So what are the things that you need to know that will fortify you from the fear of death? Number one, of course, you need to reconcile back to your Maker. You need to find a way and a means to become one with God. You need to find a way and a means to be united to God, to be reconciled to God, to be attached to God. And how does that take place? It takes place through love. You need to learn and discover how to fall in love with God, how to love God and walk with Him. If you be attached to God, fear dies. Especially fear of death. So if you want to know more about this, you can go to YouTube and just look for my name and fear and love, how to love God, or just love. You'll be able to discover more, and you'll be able to hear more on love, how to love God. So that's number one thing. When you fall in love with God, you become attached to him. And when you become attached to God and you become one with him, you are hidden in God. And once you are hidden in God, he fortifies you. Not your body, but it fortifies your spirit. Because you know that even if you die in the body, you don't die. You are alive in God. That's why Jesus said, anybody who believes in me will never die, but will live forever. So when you get reconciled with God like that, you are hidden in him. You are at rest in him because you are one with him. And the way to get attached to God that way, to be imbibed in God and to be buried in God like that, is love. Love is the glue that holds you together in God. So that's number one instrument, number one key, not to be afraid of death or afraid of anything. But number one, not to be afraid of death. Number two thing that you need to know, not to be afraid of death and not to be afraid of coronavirus, is make sure that you live every day a life of service or a life of stewardship. Live a life of service every day, a life of stewardship on a daily basis. Dedicate your life to serving men. Dedicate your life to serving God. Two things. Live a life of service to God and to man, which means that your highest priority, your highest desire will be to make somebody happy, to make somebody feel better. Anyhow, either by smiling to them, shaking them, hugging them, helping them, blessing them, anyhow that will just make other people happy. Anything you will do that will make other people happy, be willing to do it. So if you are willing to serve others, you will be so fulfilled. Your heart will be so full of fulfillment, harmony, equilibrium. You will be so harmonious with yourself, with life, that death disappears. Because you are so satisfied, you are ready to go at any time. And to go doesn't mean to die. When you live a life of service, you don't die. You live forever. You go higher to go and continue to serve over there. You begin to serve together with the angels. So life of service is one of the main reasons why we are on earth in the first place. So when you discover that secret of living to serve, because we serve God only by serving people. Some people believe that they are serving God because they are religious. They go to church, they go and do some things in the building of the church, and that way they think they're serving God. That's not the kind of service that I'm talking about. In my own understanding, the kind of service I'm talking about is serving people. Because you can only serve God by serving people. If you don't serve people and you hope to serve God, God said you are a liar, because you cannot serve God that you don't see, whereby you pass by people that you see. So you can only love God by loving people. You can only touch God by touching people. And that way you can only serve God when you serve people. Now that's number two key. So number one is to be bound together in love with God. To be attached to God in love, to be one with God, to be reconciled with God. No, that's why, and that's how the fear of death goes. Number two, live every day a life of service. Make sure you are serving people, you are making the world a better place, you are helping people. Number three thing that you need to do to overcome the fear of coronavirus and to overcome the fear of death is to discover the purpose for which God sent you here to the earth. Because everyone that is on earth is here on a mission. We are all packaged from heaven to fulfill one calling or the other on the earth. You were sent here with a mission. There is a mission on your life. There is a destiny on you. There is a purpose that you are supposed to carry out here on the earth. But a lot of people just get distracted. You know, they are doing their own thing. They are distracted mainly by survival, trying to make a living. But they don't really find time to discover their purpose and their calling and their mission for which God packaged them in heaven for. And that's why death is a big deal for them. You are afraid of dying because you don't want to die not being sure that you have actually accomplished the purpose for which you are here for. So, but if you need help in this area, I have teachings and free teachings on YouTube on these topics. You know, I have a teaching on calling, purpose and calling, who am I? You can find them on YouTube. So that's the next point. When you discover your purpose and you dedicate your life to fulfilling that purpose on a daily basis, ooh, you are rather waiting for death. Death, come on, I am ready. Because you know that when you go, you are going to hear the word, welcome, good and faithful servant. Because you've been faithful to fulfill and carry out the mission for which you are sent here. That's why you are not afraid. You would not be afraid because I've been ready to die from 40. From 40 years old, I knew I was living by this principle. I mean, before, from 19 years old, I knew I was living like this. By 40, I was ready. I know I'm not going to be ashamed to stand before God because I've been living a life of service, because I've been united in love with God, because I've been fulfilling my purpose. Then the next one for which, the next thing that will help you to get rid of the fear of death and the fear of coronavirus is, apart from living a life of service, apart from living a life of purpose, you must also live a life of love. You must also live a life of love. Loving people. Like I said, the way to love God is to love people. Let love be in your heart at all times. Get rid of resentment. Even when people are mean to you, even when people have been wicked against you, don't respond. Focus on love. Focus on love. Focus on love. As I'm here right now, I don't have an enemy the whole world over. Maybe they are there, but I don't know them. I do what I do. They might think I'm an enemy. I don't see them as enemy. Focus on love. Forgive people before they ask you for forgiveness. Love them anyway. When you live like that, joy will never depart from you. When you live like that, welcome heaven. You are ready to welcome heaven at any time. Love is the essence of life. Love is the supreme order. Love is the ultimate assignment. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your spirit, with all your might, and then love your neighbor as yourself. If you could just dedicate yourself, your knowledge, your intellect, your will, your power to loving God. What is death? What is coronavirus? Because you are ready to meet the master, to meet your master. Yeah, love. Live a life of love. Another one. How to overcome the fear of death and the fear of coronavirus. Even after coronavirus, you still have to know these things. Another thing that you must get to know on earth to live a victorious life over fear of any sort is live a life of truth. Not just saying, speaking the truth, talk the truth. No. Live a life dedicated to the truth. When I spoke about truth, I'm talking about the deep truth. Truth that is not just saying, oh, someone said truth, someone said lie. No. I'm talking about the essence of truth. You must get to know truth with your heart. And once you know truth, it's one level. But you must go beyond that one level. You must get to the level of falling in love with the truth. I have a series in my YouTube video that is called Truth Series. Go look for that series. It will blow your mind. It will change your life. get to discover truth and dedicate your life to live the life of truth. Once you do, death is going to be a welcome guest, because death will be taking you to your reward. Death will be taking you to your crowning, to your celebration, to your ceremony. Yeah. That will be a thing of joy to you. Finally, live a life you are intended and meant to live on earth. The highest kind of life anybody could live on earth is not just to say you got born again. You know, most people say they are born again. They are going to be shocked when they die, because they are not ready. Even some of them are even afraid. They are not ready, because in our own Christian religious understanding, being born again means I confessed, I repeated some prayers, I received Jesus in my heart. But that is not the purpose of being born again. Being born again means to receive Jesus Christ into your heart, right? As confess him, but not just with your mouth. Once you have done that, or you become a believer, a Christian, you must make sure that you dedicate your life to remold yourself in the image and likeness of God. That's the ultimate life. And that's the ultimate purpose of life for every one of us. We should strive to imitate God, to copy God, to be like God, to carry God's image on a daily basis, to carry his likeness, to reflect him, to become one with him, to exemplify God, to modify God. Because that is the original intent of God's creation. Why God created man. He said, let us make man in our own image and likeness. This was before the fall. So it is the purpose that was put down before the fall that we have to now go back to. Our purpose now is to become that image and likeness that God intended originally. All right? So those are the things that make you to be fortified against death and against coronavirus fear. Number one, reconcile with your maker. Number two, live a life of service. Number three, discover your purpose and live a life of purpose. Number four, live a life of love. Love God. Is to love God, is to love people. Number five, live a life of truth, right? God is truth. Jesus said, for this purpose I came to the earth, to testify to truth. So we have to be testimony, walking testimony of truth. Number six, be God's image. Number seven, live to be his likeness. And then heaven and angels will be waiting for you and say, come home, with trumpets to celebrate you when it's your time to come home. This is what death is for a believer. We are not afraid of it. It is our graduation. It is our matrimony. It is our celebration. It is our reward moment. So for anybody that is afraid of death or afraid of coronavirus, please listen to this video again. Go look for the expanded version of each one of these things I've spoken about, and you will enjoy. You will meet death with laughter. You will be laughing upon death because you know it's come to take you home. And death doesn't have to be suffering and torture. Death is a crossover. You are just stepping over. Death is glorious. Is living a higher life. Is walking into victory. Is deliverance from the body. Deliverance from all the limitations of the earth to a glorious, glorious life that is waiting ahead. For the love of God, church and nation. Peace.